The city of Lumpkin, Georgia is home to one of the largest for-profit immigration detention centers in the U.S., the Stewart Detention Center.
Place is in the poorest county in the state. It's a very rural area. There's nothing here.
P.J. Edwards is the founder of Refugio, a hospitality house just a few miles from the detention center where volunteers welcome families of men that are being detained.
The idea is to provide this hospitality, visit the men, and then also try to do this advocacy through education, and then also to be able to share what we learned with our government officials to try to improve the conditions.
At Refugio, the volunteers believe that detention is not necessary for these men that are going to be deported.
There's plenty of alternatives that have been shown to be very effective.
We came here to the house to see what the volunteers had to say about the Stewart Detention Center.
There are no laws about how immigrants to be treated. There are just some Immigration and Customs Enforcement, ICE, standards that we think are poorly monitored. But we do want to know when those standards are being broken so that we can go to ICE and make a complaint and try to improve the situation for the men.
We stopped at the sign of the Stewart Detention Center. The center is located right down this road, but we're not allowed to take cameras or videos inside.
I'd heard the stories of the mistreatment, the abuse, and it's one thing to hear them about other people and you feel bad and you want to do something, but it's another thing when it's your own little brother telling you the things that go on in there.
Estella Martinez was first detained in Texas in October of 2014. He was later transferred to Louisiana and then the Stewart Detention Center, where he remained until March 2015.
The first few weeks he was there, he was translating a lot because he just didn't like the fact that there were immigrants, that they're undocumented immigrants that were being tricked into signing their own voluntary departures or their own deportations without them really knowing what was going on.
Raphael told his sister Estella that the conditions were terrible. He said that the food was bad and that the place where they slept was colder than being outside in the winter.
What did surprise me was that one week, they served bad chicken that was already spoiled. He was sleeping under a vent. The bed that he was right under a vent, and he had a cold, and he requested to move bed because of the cold, and the vent was just going straight onto him, and they told him no, while half the beds were empty.
At his hearing on November 19th, the judge decided that Raphael was going to be deported. But everything was so backed up that they kept him in the detention center until March, when he was finally released.
In an immigration situation where these guys are actually hearing another 400 clients a year, so it's almost 1,900 cases per judge that they're having to run through, they get about 5 to 10 minutes per person, but the ultimate item that happens out of it is the individual gets removed from the United States. They're torn away from their family, so they'll never see their children again. This needs a much higher level of review than the few minutes that we're allowed to actually give to them. Now, one thing we have been seeing recently is they are offering a lot more of administrative closures, which does allow the individual to stay in the United States, but when they administratively close your case, the client receives no intern benefits. So the individual isn't in fear of being ripped away from their families at the moment, but they will have no benefits while they're here. In a state like Georgia, you can get no ID, you have no driver's license, you can't drive anywhere. Without the Social Security number, you can't work. With no authorization to work, every job you get is a crime.
Despite the hardship, Estella and her family were able to find comfort and help from the volunteers at Refugio.
I was very happy to know that there were people out there knowing these issues and taking steps forward to help these families and provide some kind of comfort in a horrible situation, provide some kind of hope in a journey that you feel like there is none.